I am delighted to say that once I've dried the hand sanitizer off, joining us...
Probably having a bit more free time on my hands to do so, and most importantly, I just felt like I could add value to that setup. So that's how we are where we are.
That's exciting. So when do you sort of hook up and start?
So we travel on the 10th of October out to Desert Springs, and we've got a round robin-esque type competition taking place between us, Germany, Denmark, Jersey.
Yep.
Top 2 teams qualify and go on to the next stage, which then we start playing higher ranked teams essentially to get the opportunity to go to the World Cup.
Terrific, terrific. What's the kit like?
I've just got a picture through this morning. Nice. Surrey blue, as you can imagine. It's quite looking forward to popping that on.
It will suit you. How are you feeling, my friend? how it's a strange, must be a strange feeling this, with Surrey being Jade Dernbach and Jade Dernbach being Surrey, so it must be quite a strange feeling, I'd have thought.
Yeah, it's been to describe the last couple of months, it's been horrendous really at times. Just trying to come to terms with the fact that this will no longer be my home. Never really envisaged it happening the way it did, but I guess a number of professional athletes will certainly be in that boat where we all wish we can call time and we decide it's time. But yeah, it didn't happen that way for me here. I just never thought I'd leave this place, but the time has come where unfortunately management and stuff don't think that I'm going to be able to offer what they need and are going to look elsewhere. So I can understand it in that sense because it's a business at the end of the day, but in terms of the kind of personal side and what the club means to me and not being here, that's been difficult for me to kind of come to terms with, and I've had to take some time away to really get my head around it. It's not made it any easier, that is for sure. It's still emotional every time now I walk through the gates. It's kind of that inevitability that this is not going to happen for very much longer, and it's very sad.
Yeah, but as you say, it's still got a huge amount to offer the game of cricket. Italy stuff as well, and then someone comes knocking?
Yeah, for sure. I'm going to look at all options and opportunities. Like I say, the big thing for me is I've spent the last 2 years have been horrendous trying to come back from this injury, and I've worked so hard, and finally I got to the point where actually I could start trusting the body again and feel like I could still offer, and I just didn't get given the opportunity to show that, which is the biggest frustration for me, is that I'd love to have proved that I could still offer something to Surrey, not only just being on the field but obviously everything else that comes with that. But like I say, that's not to be. So for me, I know I can still play county cricket. I want to still play 4-day cricket. I want to still play 1-day cricket. I want to help people coming through, and I think to leave the game now just abruptly like that would be such a shame, not only for myself but for all the people I could probably help out.
Yeah, absolutely. I know this is a difficult question, but you know what's coming. You must be so proud of what you've done here, though. And I've seen all your games for Surrey, obviously, but you must be incredibly proud when you look back at your stats. And I'd have thought 2018 would be right up there, though, winning the championship.
Yeah, that's a trump card in it all, really. It has been a fantastic career. Certainly, so much more than I ever could have imagined it would have turned out to be. To be such a household name at the biggest club in the country, there's not much more you can ask for being a cricketer. I've experienced everything and more. Winning the county championship was obviously the cherry on top, something I strive to do my whole career. Obviously winning the 1-day trophy, then you got the England caps to boot. I've achieved absolutely everything I could have wanted to. This has been my home, my family. I love everyone, down to the coaches, the players, down to the security men who greet me in the morning, who help me park my car. It's a whole field. It's everything. It's an all-encompassing place, and I've been able to be lucky enough to be involved in it for the best part of 18, 19 years.
I think, and just hear me out, I think people from the outside looking in, with the way you are on the pitch, and you're always an entertainer, and you've always, the knee slides and all that good stuff. I don't think people realise quite how much this place means to you, and the fact that genuinely it's that old expression, isn't it? If they opened you up, you'd bleed Surrey, wouldn't you? And this has been, as you say, it has been your life from Guildford Academy, second team, first team. This place has been everything for you, hasn't it?
I've lived, eat and breathed Surrey cricket. Like you said, if you cut me open, that's what you'd see. All the sacrifices you have to make along the way, whether that be family, relationships, not being able to go to weddings, all these things that you give up but it doesn't feel like you're giving up anything because it's something you love. It's the place you love. Coming into work every day doesn't feel like work because you love it. You know, if I sit in a car for 2 hours every morning driving in, it makes no difference to me. I've done it for 18 years because I love coming here. This is my home. And I hope I've been able to show people that kind of pride when I've stepped out into the pitch. Yes, haven't always gone the way I wanted to, but that's sport. But all I can say is I've given my 100% all every single time I've crossed that white line. And yeah, I've left it all out there. There's nothing more I could have given. Up until this point, yes, do I think I could have continued to play? Absolutely, and still do a job. But I can move away now and go, do you know what? I gave everything to Surrey County Cricket Club.
White ball wise, what I always admired about you, Jade Dernbach, is you always turned up to do the dirty stuff. Never shirk that responsibility. And sometimes that goes right, and sometimes that goes wrong. But if you're putting yourself in that firing line, everyone's going to see it. But I always, even from a very, very young age, you always enjoyed having that responsibility, didn't you, in the white ball stuff?
Yeah, of course. I've never seen myself as a shrinking flower in that sense. The most exciting parts of the game are when I want to be involved, whether that's when I was 15 years old or now when I'm 35 years old. If you say, when do you want to bowl? I want to do it at the hardest times because, yes, the biggest accolades are there, but equally I understand the pitfalls and got to understand them better as my career went along. You realise that you can't win every battle. Sport, somebody wins, somebody loses. So when you come to terms with that, I think it makes you a better cricketer in the end, and that's why I've always strived in those situations, because when you get to challenge yourself against the best in the hardest times, that's when you really see a side of yourself. And the thing I loved doing was then walking back into the dressing room knowing I've done the job for the team. That's the biggest accolade. It's not a personal thing there, because actually as your figures get damaged, you may not take the wickets, but I can walk into the dressing room and say I've won a game for my team, and that was the bit that mattered the most to me.
Because of course your T20 debut was here on finals day, semi-final, and the Lancashire top three that day. What a top three to go out again! Well, Law, Loy and Flintoff, wasn't
Indeed,
it? What are your memories of that? So finals day, full house here, and you're playing in that semi-final.
So I remember getting called up to that week. We had some training sessions, bowled really well, and Steve Rickson said to me, all right, you're in the squad for Saturday. I was like, that blew my mind already. It was like a wow moment. Turned up never expecting to play, and then got the tap on the shoulder 10 minutes before going out for warm-up saying, you're playing. And it was an absolute whirlwind. I do remember nicking off Stewie Law, and Sauls dropped it at slip. I then went on to go for 56 in 4 overs. But what an experience.
Well, absolutely. And I think quite a lot of people would have gone for runs against that top three. But again, the whole point of that is you weren't worried about playing in front of you. Loved it, didn't you? You absolutely loved it.
I felt like that was where I needed to be from that very moment. I think getting the opportunities in white ball cricket where the crowds were bigger anyway, and that being my first exposure to county cricket, was I think what made me and drove me to understand that that's what I wanted. So then getting that chance when I was 17 to play in front of a full house, I was like, that's where I want to be. So everything I could do to get back to that point, I was going to do, and never ever felt taken aback by it. It was just exciting to me.
And the skills, which we see all the time now in the white ball, but you were one of the first with sort of back of the hand slower balls, all different types of slower balls. How just sort of influence-wise on you as a bowler, who are your sort of your big influences at the club, and also that you bowled with as well?
So probably at that time, Azam Mahmood was massive. You know, he was such a great white ball bowler, had so many different skills. So just watching these guys day in, day out. Ricky Clark again, watching him playing for England on white ball stuff when I was coming through. Because to more of an extent with what you had to do day in, day out to be a successful bowler. You know, I was changing next to him from the get-go, so how much better does that get? So I had a wealth of people around me at that time which I could learn and understand. But for me, it was always, I used to always just watch cricket, whether that be Guildford Club cricket on Saturday, whether it's some bloke I'm playing against. I can learn something every time I'm watching the game. Doesn't matter about your ability, but if I see you do something that I think I can replicate or move into my game, I'll take it. And that's exactly where the back of the hand slow ball came. Came from a lad called Will Saby, who played a bit of cricket under 15s with me, and he played at Guildford with me in the second team. And he used to bowl this back of the hand ball and get guys out every Saturday for fun. I sat back thinking, I'm going to learn how to do that. And then fast forward a couple of years, and then that's what I get known as on the international level. So it just goes to show you can learn stuff everywhere.
Fascinating. So that came from someone you played club cricket with?
Yeah, on a Saturday. Second team Guildford Cricket.
Isn't that brilliant? Isn't that brilliant? And you mentioned the international stuff there. Look, there aren't many, my friend, that play for England, and you are one of them. Again, well, I don't know what it, and I'll never find out what it's like playing for England. But you must again just look back at that, played in World Cups, and be so proud of being part of all of that.
Absolutely amazing. I still have to pinch myself at times to go, I played 55 times for my country. It's absolutely amazing. I still remember the first time I got called up. My one-day international debut was here at the Oval against Sri Lanka. I remember being called up to the World Cup, 50-over World Cup. I didn't play, but that was my first little taster. Being called into a test squad, didn't play, but again, another taster. It's just like the experiences I've managed to have. With at times when I've thought limited ability, but I just wanted it so much, and that was, I guess, the key for me the whole way along, was my hunger and desire to want to be good and to want to be on that stage, and that's what drove me to continuously try to get better.
And again, it's that whole thing of when you hit the international stage, and actually it's different now for this generation with live streams, but for you, that there wasn't the exposure there is now, was there? So how tough was it? And as I say, you were the one doing the dirty overs. That sometimes it goes right, sometimes it goes wrong. How difficult was it suddenly having sort of that amount of attention on you with the press and TV and all that good stuff?
That was the bit I kind of struggled with towards the end. Was what I couldn't understand was I was doing this hard work or that hard job for the team, but wasn't not necessarily looking for praise, but it just felt like nobody understood what I was doing. So all it was constant hammering because it wasn't going well. Whereas actually when I was at Surrey or doing it, yes, it was going well, which helps, but always had the backing of everyone. It always felt that everyone had your back, whether it went right or wrong. When you step up to the international stage, it doesn't work that way. You have to win every game. You're expected to win every game, and I understand that. But with the nature of the job, it doesn't work out that way. And I just felt like the press got on my back very early, very quickly, because it didn't go so well, and didn't understand that actually I was taking the heat off other people and allowing them to do their job.
And that was the point I was making. You never went hiding. That was the thing. You always turned up, whether it went right or wrong. You turned up. You did the dirty overs at the back end as well, which, as you say, your figures can get absolutely demolished. But you probably won more games than you came off.
I'd like to think so.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure if we look at the stats, that would be an absolute tick in the box for you. Red Ball wise, I mentioned the championship in 2018. I've always, and this isn't, don't think I'm saying anything again, I've always thought that you've been underrated as a red ball bowler. 2018, you were an absolutely pivotal part of Surrey winning the championship in 2018. Do you think maybe you have been a little underrated with because of the nature of white ball cricket and you playing for England in white ball cricket and this whole white ball specialist thing that goes around the place now? Do you feel that you may have been a little bit underrated with the red ball?
Yeah, certainly so. And I think I got protected a lot because of my white ball skills, so then didn't get the opportunity to play as much red ball as I would have liked. People wanting to keep me fresh for white ball, which was great. But actually how I found that it was counterproductive in the end, because actually just bowling day in, day out, you groove your action, you get to know what works. You get into good habits playing red ball cricket, which then transfer nicely into white ball. I found, and this is purely personal, that when I was just playing white ball, I got into some bad habits as a fast bowler, opening up to try and push the ball in, all things which weren't good for my action. But then you start repeating them over and over again, and then all of a sudden you find yourself in a bit of strife. So I always felt I played my best white ball cricket when I was playing red ball. But then it got to the point where people just kept protecting me to play white ball. So it became counterproductive, and I guess that's why I probably was underrated. But 2018 was an opportunity where I put my head down and said that winter, I worked really hard, got really disciplined with my action, and said, you know what, I want to make a difference with my red ball. The white ball then becomes a bit of a side piece.
And the key thing with that was, because when you first started, my friend, you were a bit of a tearaway. Yes, fair point. And it was, but what I admired so much about you in 2018 was you slipped into that role of I'm just going to control one end here. I'll let Morkel do his stuff. Clark can do his stuff. Verdi can do. I am just going to bowl and bowl and bowl. And was that a conscious decision then?
100%.
Yeah, okay.
So that winter, I'd said to myself, I just want to be the most consistent and economical bowler in our side. I thought, I had a look at, had discussions with people and had a look at our side and said, that's where I think we're lacking. This is the piece where I can fit in. Because I hadn't played a hell of a lot of red ball up until that point over those 2 years. And I thought, how do I fit into our side? That's the job I need to do. So work tirelessly to do that, and actually change my mindset in the thought of, if I go 2 runs and over, that would genuinely please me. That's what's going to excite me, not the chasing the fifers. Because I was able to get my excitement from the white ball. So bowling those death overs, getting that excitement. The red ball for me was a complete mind switch, and that was the best thing. Whereas probably my whole career up until that point was all about, I want to swing this ball from middle stump, nick him off, I've got an in-swing, I'll bowl that. So just try to show off all my skills all the time.
Yeah. How good was that, winning in 28? I have to say, when I was pleased for everybody, but I was over the moon for you, to be fair. For all the years you'd played, to be a championship winning player for Surrey, it was just one new road, amazing occasion, all that good stuff. But just that season as well, it all built up, didn't it, to that brilliant climax? It's
so hard to put into words exactly what it was, but we just got on such a roll. We had such a great team environment. That is what made it. We all played for one another. We all had specific roles, and we loved turning up and doing that. Nobody stepped out of piece. There was responsibilities put on everybody, and everybody delivered. It obviously helps if you got all the pieces there that enable you to do it. But for us, it was just a case of building week on. And when you're winning, it becomes a habit. You could see, you all of a sudden felt after our first game here, I think it was Warwickshire or Yorkshire we turned over. Then the minute you turn up to the next week, people are already thinking, all right, well, we've got to be wary of these guys. And it just kept building. So every time you turned up against someone, you could see the fear in them. It's almost like you'd beaten them before you turned up.
The one I distinctly remember, was Scarborough.
Yes.
Where you bowled a lovely first spell, kept it very, very tight. Popey got the 100 in the sea threat, and then it was that afternoon, wasn't it? And yourself, and then Mornay picked up bang, bang, bang.
Yeah.
And I sat there and I thought, yeah, they might do it this year. If they can
that was
win
when we
from
started
that,
believing.
if they can do it from that position, and it was the way, I think it was only 2 wickets down the chase as well. And I think that was, and was that the time as a team
that was
as well,
the time.
that game?
Because up until that point, we hadn't thought about it. We were just going week on, and sort of just working our way through, just piling the points up, not really paying attention to anything else. But it was after because after Yorkshire in the first innings, where they got away, the last 2 batters got away, Brooksy smacked a few, and we sort of went a bit awry for the first time. And we really had to claw our way back into that game. And I saw some characteristics which I thought, I've never seen this before. We're on here.
It's interesting that, because that's the one I distinctly remember. 2011 as well.
Yep.
Winning at Lord's with that group. That must have been a lovely thing as well.
That was amazing. That was just pure young exuberance, talent. I mean, talent for days we had on that side, didn't we? I just started my international career as well, so flying so high, just felt on top of the world. And then to cap it off with that victory, bringing a trophy back after a number of years without one, was special. The real shame is that we didn't kick on from that period. Obviously, stuff happened off the field, but yeah, that was such a special group, and I mean, I would have been surprised if not all of those guys would have gone on to play for England.
Absolutely. You in a dressing room, my friend, that is a massive part of Jade Dernbach. And again, I don't think, from the outside looking in, I don't think people quite realise what you give to other players and in the dressing room. Now, don't get too emotional on me, but whenever a player leaves anywhere, they say that's the tough bit, is that dressing room environment and being with your mates. And obviously, there's been good times and there's been bad times. I'd have thought that's the thing you are going to miss the most, isn't it? With the number of players that you've played with, that dressing room where you've spent all that time, that's going to be a tough one to walk away from, isn't it?
That is honestly, hands down, the hardest bit, is walking into the dressing room, going to the same corner I've dressed in for the best part of, what, 18 years. But it's the guys, it's the people you invest your time and energy into, the people you love, the reason why you come to work. You know, I just walked in there now after being in an interview this morning, and walk in and I just feel immediately at home. It's just everyone knows you, you're completely comfortable. So you're completely comfortable in your own skin. You can be the most vulnerable side of yourself or the most confident side of yourself. They treat you exactly the same. And it's that side, that camaraderie, those relationship building aspects of sport, which I think you'll end up missing.
Yeah. And what's been interesting with your career as well is you've seen so many players come there. You know, I think of who you started with in that dressing room and this dressing room. You've been in the dressing room with some of the biggest players in the world, haven't you? Ponting. The only reason I'm bringing this up is he was great, wasn't he?
He was good.
I remember his final first-class innings with you at the other end.
I know. Do you think he would have dreamt that up?
Well, I'm sure that's how he wanted to. But him also literally talking to you after every single ball, didn't he? In that knock.
I mean, he saw. You either describe as lack of ability or ability. He saw something, but it was, I remember after, I think it was my third delivery, Ajmal Shahzad ran in, bowled a length ball outside off stump, and as I do, I tried to hit him over the OCS stand, and he just walked down, and he gave me a look. He didn't even have to say anything, but he gave me a look that said 1,000 words. And it was at that point I knew, okay, listen, just hang on a minute, you're batting with Ponting here in his last ever innings.
And then, of course, getting Sangakkara over the line at Wantage Road, talking him through that innings as well.
Course,
there was that. But batting-wise, Jada, God, I've loved watching you bat. Again,
entertainment value,
it's
isn't
all
it?
been entertaining. I was only discussing this the other day at Wantage Road, but the highlight would have to be, wouldn't it? The stand with Andre now, and pulling David Willey over the score box into the gardens for 6. But that must be. I know it's a strange thing to say, but that must be up there, I would have thought, for you, because it was
100%.
fantastic, you two, that day.
Especially the position we were in that game. We were so far behind the 8 ball. We were looking at following on, and it was only really that partnership. Then we went on and bowled quite nicely too. We bowled them out, we won the game. And after so many years of people telling you can't bat, to then finally show that, well, there is something there. It's just application, which has let me down from time to time. But that was amazing, because it's something I can tick off the list and say, I've done it.
How much did you enjoy your batting?
I had moments, and again, it comes down to, sometimes it's what ability you're born with, unfortunately, and seeing the cricket ball at 85+ mile an hour was not easy for the best of us, let alone a bloke who's got limited talent. I always enjoyed the tough times. Again, it was weirdly when we needed 10 runs to win or something, had to go in and do a job, or whether it's to block out for somebody or to help somebody get something. Whenever there was that pressure on it, I loved it. When it was just a case of just going out there to bat, I found myself just sort of wandering a bit in thought and just thinking I'm better than I really am.
Did play some great shots, though, I have to say.
Some good swings of the willow.
Absolutely fantastic, but didn't always quite go where I was expecting them to.
No.
But how important was coming through the academy as well for you?
Yeah, I mean, the academy system speaks for itself, doesn't it? The graduates which have come through, to be on the first roster, essentially, of that academy system was amazing. It was such an eye-opener for everyone, and we did it so well. It was so professional. It gave us the insight we needed before walking into a professional dressing room, which I think was the biggest key, is to understand what it takes to be a professional cricketer and learning all the skills you need. And GT, you know, Gareth Townsend, he's obviously left now, but he's done such an amazing job just supporting us the whole way through, and just seeing the conveyor belt of kids coming through. You know that if they've been on the Surrey Academy, they're going to be worth a look, and lo and behold, we've seen many more come through.
I thought, again, another thing you're very proud of is if you look at that honours board, that academy honours board, Jade Dernbach is right up the top as one of the first to come out the academy and play professional cricket for Surrey. And also, I like at George Abbott now that your photos are all up as you go up the stairs. So this current crop look back and see, you know, who has come through the system. And as you say, the conveyor belt has been incredible, hasn't it?
Yeah, and that's the key, is to show the young guys that the pathway actually works. What you're doing and turning up here on Monday, Wednesday, Friday night, giving up your time to practice, to make yourself better. There's a reason why you're doing it, and there's people who've done it before you and have gone on to be successful. So I think constantly reminding people and having a system that works is what's going to help the next generation and inspire them to want to, with cricket, you have to give up so much time and so much other stuff with your personal life. It's got to be worth it in the end, and we've absolutely shown here at Surrey that that works.
Yeah. Dressing rooms are important at good times. They're probably more important at tough times, I would have thought. And we know we don't need to go, but how important was the dressing room, the players you were with, to help get you through the tough times? Yeah,
and the one mainstay that's been here, I guess, probably the biggest man in that was Gareth Batty, who's been here since then. You know, he's one of my best friends in the world, and I'd do anything for him now on the cricket field until I'm no longer here. I will always have his back. That's, you know, these are the special relationships that you make and create with people and will be forever lasting. I can guarantee that I could pick up the phone to any one of these guys in 10, 15 years time and would make a difference, and we'd start exactly where we ended off. There's been so many people along the way. Steve Howes is another man at this club who's been here from day dot, who's done plenty for me. He's seen the good, bad and ugly side of myself, but been with me ever since. Alex Tyso, you know, the list goes on of people who have been there and helped me through my darkest times, but enabled me to be the best version of myself when it mattered, putting on the Surrey shirt.
Yeah, and R. Clark as well. Because obviously this is his last game as well, and you two have done an awful lot together, haven't you, over the years?
It's been emotional. I've been watching the live stream over the last couple of days, and just, you know, he's been inundated with people, you know, with the well messages and stuff, but it is sad. He's done so much for us since coming back. He's a Surrey boy at heart, obviously, but we've come back and we've seen the best version of Ricky Clark and what he's offered us. It's going to be sad, but I think he's happy in knowing that he's again in the position where he's given everything he can to this club. Yeah, I'm gonna enjoy having a beer with him at the end of play when he hangs those boots up finally. But it's going to be sad. Those are big boots to fill. So I hope that there's somebody relishing the opportunity which it's going to provide.
And obviously playing, and I'll talk about Guildford in a minute, but playing your home games at this place as well, that is something else, isn't it? I think at times, and I do it, and it sounds a terrible thing to say, you almost take it for granted. You rock up back here at the Kia Oval, used to it. It's a special place, isn't it?
It really is, and it is that, you know, you get used to something, and therefore sometimes it takes that gloss off. You can just all of a sudden ignore you're playing in such an amazing stadium when you're just going to turn up and go to the gym, but it's actually taking stock. And once you get to the back end of your career and you start realizing that it's not going to be here forever, you realize how lucky I have been. I get to turn up here on a Friday night, T20, guarantee there's going to be 20,000 people here. That's amazing. Unless I'm playing international cricket, nobody else gets to experience that. I get to turn up and have breakfast every morning because that's just what's done here. You know, I can park my car, everybody knows my name. That's the sort of stuff which really matters. And yeah, I've learnt my trade on what was, you know, the best wicket in the country. I think that's held me in good stead, and that's what allowed me to be successful not only here but in other countries too.
And also, mentioned Guildford there, obviously, that I've always thought that must be a real thrill to be playing at your club. In first-class cricket, that must. It
was at times, but we had a terrible record there, didn't we, Church?
Well, it went on for a while.
It did,
didn't it?
I'm so glad we managed to change that in 2018.
Yeah.
Again, that was another driver for us that year, turning up, going, we are no longer going to have Guildford be a voodoo ground for us in that sense, because it always used to tarnish that feeling. You used to go back as a Guildford player and think, oh, I can't wait to play that week. All my friends and family there, a ground I know, and we just used to get turned over. No matter how hard we tried, we got turned over. 2018, we turned that around and we stuffed Somerset there, didn't we? Which was awesome. And again, it brought that feeling. That was one of the greatest weeks I've played, again, because it was my home club and we won. So.
And the tattoos, Jade Dernbach.
Yes, sir.
Now, I've often said with you, and you know I mean this very affectionately, sometimes when I'm chatting to you, I don't know whether to talk to you or read you. They're magnificent. They are magnificent. Are you there now, do you think, or could there be some more in the...
I think I'm done now, Church. You're 35-year-old, adding any more would be a little bit silly. Plus, I'm pretty much covered now, so...
But it's part of Jade Dernbach. That's the thing, isn't it? It's part of that Jade Dernbach. It's what people talk about. Jade Dernbach and his tattoos. Is he having... I remember there was a game, it may have been at Lord's, and it was when you were playing for England, and you came out and you had a sleeve on.
Yeah.
Oh, and the press were on me. Is he injured? What's happened there?
Yeah.
Da, 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 da. And it just turned out that you just had a new tattoo. Yeah. But that what day that was.
The thing is, it's probably been the best and worst thing for me. I said it's the best thing because I love it and was my choice. It got me recognised, and in the sense of before social media, when I first started playing for England, I was probably one of the most recognisable cricketers at that point just because of the tattoos. You didn't have to know anything about cricket, but you knew that I was Jade Dernbach. Pushed that on a few years, and when things are not going so well, I remember coming back from the T20 World Cup when we got knocked out in the group stages, and coming back, and because I was so recognisable, the thought of going out to go to a restaurant or go and have coffee, hated it, because people would come up to just say their 2 pence and tell you how bad you are. You don't need to tell me. If I've gone a 10 and over, I know I've had a bad day.
Yeah.
So it's worked both ways. It certainly helped me in the interim, or when things are going well, it's brilliant. Yeah. When not so much when you want to be a shrinking violin, just sit in the corner and mind your own business, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah. And I suppose, you get to spend a bit more time with family now as well.
Yeah.
You've been away an awful lot, haven't you?
Have been away an awful lot, so that's going to be good. I don't know how. You might need to ask my wife about it, but she might not be so pleased. But yeah, I guess now these next couple of months, I'm just going to take some time to digest everything that's happened. I've been, I'm looking at options, both staying within the game or whether that be moving on. So it's just sitting back, looking to see what offers come around, and make a decision accordingly.
They'll come, my friend, they'll come. Listen, we'll leave it there because we've only got a couple of minutes until the lunch break. Just from me to you, and this is heartfelt, anyone can go and look at your stats. Anyone can go and see the wickets you picked up. What I've always loved about you is what I said. You bled this place. You're one of the most loyal people I know. Even for me, at times, you've been a really, really good mate to me when I've needed someone to talk to. And I just think what you should take away with, cricket aside, and you're a bloody talented bowler, and you've played for your country, and you've won the title with Surrey, but I think what you should take away is the bloke you were on the cricket field and the bloke you were in the dressing room. And I think probably you realise now how much you are loved at this place. And I would have thought that you could keep all your stats; they'll always be there. But that must be something that really matters. That's the bit that matters most, to be honest. Statistics are what they are. They're just a sort of byproduct of playing cricket, aren't they? For me, it's the relationships I've created, the impression I've made with people, especially the people that matter, and to know that I've forged friendships and helped people at the end of the day. I just want to be known as someone who gave my all, was a good friend, was there when you needed me, was dependable, and left a good mark on the game. And I hope in a small way I've done that. You have, my friend. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. Thank you for the last 18 years, my friend, and we wish you all the Italy thing. I'm now a fan. Good man. I'm now a fan. I do quite like the sound of the shirts. Oh yes. Look, I look forward to you seeing it. Photo shoot. I'll send one. You're looking forward to that? I am indeed. The Italian photo shoot. Absolutely perfect. Jada, thank you for coming up and joining us, my friend. It's been an absolute honour, mate. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you. So lovely of Jade to come up there. So Jade Dernbach coming up and joining us through the lunch break there on the Surrey live stream.